The best day to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best day is today.
I don't want to look back and go, I could have, I should have, I would have. I want to go, well, I did, and it was horrible, but I did it.
Do your absolute best with the moment that you're in, because this is the moment. The only moment I have right now is this one. Let me give this moment my best attention, my best energy, my best effort. Plant that tree today.
Start now.
Yeah.
Start now.
It's never
too late.
Today.
Late.
This is the day the Lord has made, and it's a bonus.
It's
today.
a bonus.
Right now,
Right
it's
now.
a bonus.
He's Brent.
This is good.
He's Logan. I'm Kenn, and this is Every Day's a Bonus. Thanks for joining us again. This is going to be such a great episode because you're going to see a lot of the variety of what's here, and at the same time, we always love to have something that is usable today. What do I do today to make today better? And we were just talking about moments, and a day is full of moments and capturing those moments and all. And you had a great, I guess, mindset.
Yes.
Of just the parameters for us.
It's been so good for me, and warning, it might torture you the way it's torturing me. The phrase is simply this.
Torture.
And it's been almost 2 years now. Torture.
We've not used torture on this podcast much. This is our first time to have torture on it.
Well,
this is, if you're watching,
which
sorry about
episode
that.
did I tell about my stomach bug? That was torture.
That was gross. That was, that was gross.
Yeah.
This is
Torture.
torture.
I think.
Let's talk about the top 10 tortures that the
Look,
Romans have used.
Here's number one grossest.
Going to the shower and
man, we're building the anticipation. They're like, what's the phrase? Let him talk.
Let Logan get to it. Nope. He said torture, and we're going to crucify him until that. Another member of torture, right, that the Romans did, right? We just watched, what was Gladiator 2 the other night. Ooh,
how was it?
It was not as good as Gladiator 1.
No, it wasn't.
But it was like the
Gladiator
sun.
1 is my all-time favorite.
Yeah, I knew you said that. I
time.
told Jagger to watch that the other day because he and I have been wanting to watch Gladiator 2 together. And I'm like, I want you to watch Gladiator 1. So what do you do at school, right? You get on to...
You watch Gladiator 1.
You watch movies on your phone while the class is going on. That's what earbuds are for. Yeah. But anyway, he watched it. He loved it. Really? And then we watched Gladiator 2 together and we were like, oh... It was good.
Exactly.
It was good. But don't build up your anticipation if you love, when you're reading a book and you have your audio track playing and you're building a story. And if you haven't listened to that one, he has weird ways of reading books. So anyway, go ahead. I digress. Tell us more about torture.
The phrase. Here it is. Here's the phrase.
Go ahead and just say the phrase.
Yeah.
This is your moment.
This is your moment.
This is your moment.
From this moment.
And I started thinking about that, not like, this is my moment where I'm going to be amazing. This is my moment where I'm famous. This is my moment where I make lots of money, whatever. Okay. Those are great moments. But as I chewed on that phrase, and it just hit me one day, it had to be from God because I don't know where else it came from. Thinking about, I've got young kids. I've talked about my kids. They're 6 and 5. Middle of the night, one of the kids is up with bloody nose or puked in the bed or whatever. Just crazy parent, middle of the night moment. You're exhausted, like the hardest moments of being a parent. And that phrase comes to my mind. Hey, this is your moment. Rise to the occasion. Meet this moment. Give it your best. And as I've chewed on that phrase even more, to me, it means 3 things very quickly. Number 1, like I just described, this is your moment. Do your absolute best with the moment that you're in. Because this is the moment, the only moment I have right now is this one. Let me give this moment my best attention, my best energy, my best effort. Number 2, having it be a mindset of when I'm talking with others, when I'm in community, when I'm having a conversation, my mindset is, this is your moment. I'm giving you my full energy,
like last week.
Full attention.
Listening to everything.
I have a buddy. He wears an Apple Watch, and every time we get together for lunch or breakfast or whatever, and an alert pops up on his Apple Watch, he has this awful habit of slapping it. He slaps his Apple Watch, and I finally called him out because I'm going, whatever's happening, it's causing you to be pulled out of the conversation for a brief moment because you're focused on that alert, and he has stopped doing that because he's like, you're right. Yeah. I'm not in the moment. with that. So
I thought you were going to say something about intention, because mine will pop up like that and I will slap it so that I don't look at it, because then it'll go away.
Yeah.
So I thought you were saying he was being intentional. Like, I'm still listening to you.
No,
like,
but,
I'm not going to listen.
See,
so.
he's going, what was that? Or it'll be a quick glance. And it pulls them out of the conversation.
Nothing worse than being on your phone
just for a moment. Like, I really want all the attention on me.
Yeah.
Is
what
the
I found
reality
works though is I don't have an Apple Watch, so when somebody goes off, I just slap them.
Yes.
Like,
and the face
focus.
See,
good
but
idea.
if just something,
more slapping,
if something little like that,
I just slap in the face.
If something little like that, I notice it. It causes me to go, okay, what am I doing?
Yes.
When I'm having conversations, let's turn the mirror around on me. How can I make sure my approach, this is your moment, I'm fully present. And then the third one, the one that's just wrecking me, is what would life look like if I truly lived every moment with the mindset of, God, this is your moment.
That's good.
How can I honor you with what I say, with what I do, with how I act, with how I respond, etc. Okay. This is your moment. This moment belongs to
their
you.
moment, his moment.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
So
three moments.
if you're living that out, especially when things go wrong, I mean, you're going to end up in a good place.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love that.
That's why it's torture, because it's when things are going wrong and I don't want to live up to this is your moment.
Real torture.
I'm like, dang it, I don't want to think about that.
Some
right
people
now.
might argue that that's not actually torture, but I get what you're trying to say. I get that. Yeah. The people that have actually been tortured out there, leave a comment below.
Okay, so
listeners that have been tortured.
Shift that concept into reality.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So phase of life.
Phase of life. Okay. So for our life, so we're about ready. We've got a daughter up at Liberty University. We've talked about our, that's my wife and I's alma mater. Our daughter is about to be a senior there. But right now, our son has just graduated high school. And now Jagger's about to head up there to Liberty University.
So you get to keep writing tuition checks.
Empty
nesters.
Empty nesters by time, but maybe not by finances.
Empty walleters.
We can do anything we want.
We just can't afford it.
We don't have to buy anything. Yeah. So anyway, that's where we're at. But it has caused me to reflect on the moments I've had with the kids even. I'm reminded of a number of stories. I think a few weeks ago, I alluded to like a purple pass with like our daughter, Lola Reese. Okay.
Yes.
Right. I don't remember how much.
Refresh their memory in case they haven't heard that
So
episode.
if you haven't listened to that, or I didn't really go into detail, but basically Lola Reese, our daughter, two words, Lola Reese. So if you hear me saying that, Lola Reese. Yeah. She would constantly, when she was probably three years old, she would constantly get out of bed, would put her to bed, and we'd go downstairs, and like my wife and I are like, we can finally watch a movie together or talk, or bloop, in comes Lola Reese popping down the stairs.
Gosh,
right?
my kids never did that. Do
you liar.
yours do that?
You're a big fat liar.
Mine sleep all night, every night.
Yeah.
All right, listen. Listen here. So she'd come down. We're like, we got to do something. Well, I started noticing when we were putting her to bed, she was having an absolute blast. We were doing something called circus tricks, and then we're praying together, and then we're talking about the day, and all the things are happening. Of course, once we leave the room, she's like, I want to keep having more fun with my parents, right? And so we're like, all right, we don't want to squelch the fun. We don't want bedtime to be like, it's bedtime. I don't like this. How do we take advantage of the moment? How are we, in our household, we like to call it intentional parenting, right? There's always moments when you can be intentional. So we thought, okay, let's develop something my wife called the purple pass. The only reason it's called that is that's the only construction paper color we had available to us. And so
it was Lola Reese's favorite color.
Nope. That was like, what do we have? We have purple. It's a purple pass. And so she wrote purple pass on it. It's good for only one time per night. Okay. So that means we put her to bed, and one time, if she brings down the purple pass, we're not mad. We're not angry. We get to do one more thing of her choosing. It could be circus tricks. It could be we do acrobatic flips. It could be talking about a story in the Bible. We used to do, I think I've told you guys before, we used to do untold stories in the Bible, and would pick a story that you don't really talk a lot about.
Yeah. So you're going to tell us. You teased that last week.
The one the pastor goes, I don't want to preach on that one.
Yeah, it's the one I always go back to that's just the funny one is Elisha, a prophet, right? The follower of Elijah. That prophet, at one point, there's some kids and they're making fun of his bald head. I guess he was bald. And he called down a curse from the bears to come and maul the boys. And it's like,
in the love of Jesus.
So I would say that to the kids and it'd be like, and good night. Right. But it was for me, I was like, all right, now that's a cool story in the Bible, but you just wait. There are so many good stories in the Bible. And over the next number of years, we're going to unpack them. You bring up questions. Let's talk about it. Cool. So it almost like wet their whistle to want to hear more about it.
Corrupt rebellion. The earth swallows them.
Let me tell you of the torture. Yeah. Wait, that's you. You tell your kids about that. So what we started learning was, we can be intentional, right? We can take advantage of a moment without being like, we got to squelch it. Because she knew like, I already used my purple pass tonight. I'll wait until tomorrow and do something else. I'm throwing that out there. I don't know if you have young kids, and if you do, what a great way to not squelch that time, but be intentional with that time. But I'm constantly reminded as I reflect back, like I never want to look and be like, man, I wish I would have been a better father. I'm sure we all think about that. I wish I would have done this or this or this. But I do remember the moments that Kirsten and I made sure we took with the kids. We learned it was drive time, it was nighttime, and then it was meal time. Those were always like set times in the day when they may or may not be ready to talk. And sometimes it's a drive to where not a lot going on the drive, but other times they wanted to share everything they had done, they were thinking about, and we wanted to make sure we were ready to listen. So during that drive time, some kids are riding the bus, and I get that. Sometimes you have to do that. We chose, they could ride the bus, but we're like, man, when we take them in the morning, they're little chatterboxes. They're looking out, and we would have some of the best conversations was just with our kids riding in the car with us, going to school. I mean, it's 6 minutes down the road. But then we started realizing we got to be intentional. Yeah. We got to of a meal. I told you, a few weeks ago about the apple pie. If you don't know what the apple pie is, right? Intentional that time because they might be ready to go do the next thing. And that's okay. Not every time has to be that. Right. But be ready for those moments. This is the moment. This is the time. Be ready to engage when they're ready for that. Because as teenagers, I'm going to tell you, when that phase of life comes, and I love every phase, right? Somebody's asked me, what is your favorite phase? All the phases. Yeah. I love them all. To be perfectly honest, I'm not just making that up. But as they get older, they don't need you as much, but that's when they're seeking advice or they're wondering your thoughts about something. And sometimes those little cracks come in there, and it might be mealtime or the drive time, or it might be nighttime. We know when your kids are younger, they want to talk a lot when it's bedtime. Because their goal is not to go to bed. Right? Yeah. They don't want to go to bed. So hence the purple pass that had to come up. But what I kind of take away thinking of all of us, and I want to hear about your phase of life and yours as well. But where we're about to be empty nesters, there's a lot of reflecting back. Yeah. And I've noticed a lot of families asking, hey, you've got kids that are now heading. Jagger has had 4 or 5 opportunities to speak in front of the youth group at church this past semester. And he's had an opportunity to speak at baccalaureate, right? Where cool. He got to share his favorite Matthew 6:33 and how that's ministered to his life and his mission trip that he went on. And Jagger now, just the other night, we're sitting on the couch chatting. Kirsten's like, what are you guys talking about? And we're, sometimes you just have a moment. We're just talking. And he's like, if you would have told me a year ago, you're about to stand in front of 400 kids here or 2,000 people there, I would have been like, no, I am not. But just watching the intentionality that has come from he and I and my wife and our daughter all having conversations, it's all shaped who he was. So when the opportunity did present itself, like, hey, you want to speak at the, yes, I want to do that because I'm ready. I'm prepared. And so as parents, we want to be preparing them for the real world, right? Preparing them now, I'm seeing, to send them out into college and ultimately the world that's around us. But it just reflects now. And now I get a chance to be in that more of that coaching role. I'm still parenting, but I get to be in that coaching role. A good book that came out years ago is, leave the door open, the mat available, because the idea, I forget the name of it.
That was the name of the book?
That's a long title.
You're very consistent with book titles and not quite.
Leave the door open with a welcome mat.
The book title.
Here, we'll figure it out, and we're just going to put it on the screen right here. We'll get the book title right there.
I think it's like, leave the door open and your mouth shut. I think that's what it is.
Oh, that's good. That's great.
So the goal of that, as we're seeing that now, is we're not going to we're less about here's what you should do, and we're more about coming in. We're ready to help coach along where you're at. But I know that everybody listening is in different phases of life, and I'm curious, you guys. We're trying to be intentional, even still, but we're reflecting all the time when God has allowed us the time with our kids, because when they say the days are long, but the years are short. I get it now. True. I get it now.
Super true.
Some of those days is like, oh my goodness, will this day ever be over? How can I be intentional when my kids I'm going to wring their neck?
Yeah.
But you look back and you're like, wow, just a vapor, right? It's just Ecclesiastes is talk about just our life being a vapor, but truly that time with our kids. And it's like, all right, we're looking forward to this next phase. I don't want to say we're grieving the younger phase, but we're looking back saying, all right, now how can we learn and grow and then help shepherd other people in this phase of life?
Big point. Well, to totally validate that, doing it intentional, you can start at any age.
Sure.
We're at that coaching. Our kids are in their 20s and it is a wonderful phase. We've loved all of them, but you've set the table. And I would say, even if you haven't set the table, you can still do this in your life. And that is being in the moment, capturing the moment in that, to where we, with our kids, we want to say yes whenever possible.
That's right.
And we did an episode on that. Well, now that we're in that coaching phase, that's the light bulb that this is a moment. So when they're like, hey, can I give you a call? Can we talk? Well, that's the moment of my day. I'm like, yes.
I will stop whatever is happening.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
you and I were mid-conversation just the other day, and he said, oh, I got to go, Logan. Kennedy's calling. I mean, mid-sentence, done. And I totally agreed.
But that was the moment. And prior,
in our family, we have the 3 emergency. Once you've called once, if there's something going on, you can't answer it, that's fine. But if it's an emergency, once the 3rd call hits, you stop everything, regardless of what it is, and you pick that up, right? So that's kind of the emergency one.
That's awesome.
But I would say even one call, like you said, man, there's my daughter. She is 8 hours away from me.
Yeah.
I am going to make sure, hey, how are you doing?
Yeah.
And even if it's to say, hey, I'm in the middle of something, is everything okay? Can I call you back? But to be aware of those moments. And I would even take that another outside the family. When those moments and opportunities, we can get stuck in a rut where this is what I do, this is how I do it, And I've started looking for those opportunities where it's like, well, this isn't what I normally do, but somebody's asked me to do something, and or an opportunity's present itself, like, maybe this is just something I need to experience. So I'm not good at it, or I'm not there, but if you say that's it, let's say, can I tell you about 80% of the time, it's something I'm like, that was incredible. Yeah. One really quick one, I was up in Alaska doing a couple shows. They're like, what are you doing today? I'm like, well, I like to do some hikes. They gave me some, but the lead guy was like, hey, well, we're going climbing Saturday. We go early if you want to go. Well, my body's on East Coast time. I'm like, how early? It's 5:30. I'm like, well, that's 9:30 my time. I'll be up. Let's go. Well, we're starting up there, and I start having second thoughts, but I'd said yes to the moment. And he's like, yeah, check the weather. It's below freezing, so that's good. And I'm like, that's not good in my world. And then he's like, you're going to need these special shoes. And he says, I got an extra in the poles, and it's going to take us about an hour to do this. And I'm really starting to have second guess. He's like, now, do you do anything cardio regularly? I'm like, I do 3.5, 4 miles a day. He goes, oh, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Just follow. Well, it's him and a buddy.
4 miles on flat ground, right? You're about ready to go.
Right.
Quadruple bypass a few years ago.
No big deal.
Yeah.
No big
so,
deal.
I mean, we get into
Torture,
this
it sounds
thing.
like to me.
And I'm out of my element, and I'm doubting myself, but the guy who's leading is like, you're going to be good. And I'm looking, and I'm like, what is this? Skid marks? Like, well, that's people who didn't have the right equipment. They fell down.
Or people that had a stomach ache from episodes ago. That's skid marks. That's a different kind
That's a different kind of skid marks.
Keep going. Wow. So people would slide down if they didn't have the right equipment?
If you fall, you're going to go 20 to 60 feet before you even start to slow down or have a stop. So it's steep.
That's crazy.
And the whole way I'm just second guessing. It's below zero and I'm sweating like a metaphor that makes you sweat a lot. I can't think of one right now.
Ooh, that's a good metaphor.
But
You thought of one. You didn't want to say it.
Yeah. Sweating like
this whole way, I looked down once, scared me to death because of the steepness of it. And then I'm like, I'm not looking down. I look up and I'm like, that top is getting further away. So I just stayed in the moment. I got to put my foot where his foot is because there's short steps, steep. And then we got to the top. And I look around, the clouds are literally 100 feet below us. And there's all these peaks of all these mountains around. I saw something I've never seen before. And I'm like, this is incredible. It was because I didn't think of all the reasons why I couldn't do it.
Right.
I was like, well, I've got the time and that's going to work. You know what? I'm not totally comfortable in this, but I'm going to do it. Because what you said earlier, I don't want to look back and go, I could have, I should have, I would have. I want to go, well, I did and it was horrible, but I did it.
Wow.
Or man, 85% of the time, maybe 90, it's like, man, I'm so glad I did that.
So not just
today.
parenting, you're kind of saying,
life.
man, life, take advantage of those. This was your moment.
Right.
Yeah.
And those guys got a chance to take you on your moment that you're still talking about.
Yep.
Yeah. And even in relationships, last episode I had on two ago, I had on the pastel shirt that I would have never bought.
That's right.
But in the moment, my wife said, that looks so good on you. You look attractive. I'm like, you know what? Where are my priorities? Do I want to look like I look boring? Or does the woman I love say I'm attractive? Hey, I'm wearing this every day.
Do you know
be in the moment?
I've really noticed, speaking of being in the moment, there's kind of two rules of thought in the parenting world. There's the parents that are like, I'm not going to do anything for my kids so they can learn tough love, learn to do it on their own, make your own food, do this, fill your own car with gas or all that. Kirsten and I chose for us to go on the other side of that of like serving our kids, right? And doing things for them, not just because they get their own way, just because we love them. Our parents served us. And it was funny, we were kind of reflecting what they have done. My mom and dad, Roger and Deanna, they would serve me often. And that's a horrible word, but they would love me by helping and giving and showing. We started doing that for our own kids. And then it's really interesting. You start, after a little while, you do it long enough, you start watching your kids mimic what you're doing. Now you're watching, let's just say Lola Reese is great at it too. Jagger, just the other night, he is now like, oh, I'll run out to the car and grab that for you. Oh, I'll do this for you. Oh, hey, I'll bring that over to you. And it's like, whoa, thank you,
contagious.
God. Right? And now he's going to go learn to do that for others. Already he's doing it for his parents. A lot of times you don't see sons and daughters doing that for their parents, but I'll go defend that stance of loving your kids by serving your kids to anybody. And I get that some people are hard-nosed. They got to grow up in this world, and this world's not easy. I get that some people feel like they have to go in that direction. We have gone the other way of servanthood with them in some way, and listening and be intentional with that time and taking an advantage of every moment. And then we look back and we're like, wow, they're starting to mimic what we're doing. What a reflection, right?
The phrase, more will be caught than will ever be taught. Oh, it's so true. And that's in the family, in the marriage, in work.
Yeah.
It's across the board.
And I bet a big key to that, actually I don't bet, I know a big key to that is your
gambler.
Kids didn't just see you serving them, they saw you and Kirsten serving each other. And
good point. Yeah,
that's what they likely noticed more than you doing this stuff for them. They noticed how you treated each other, and they're going, that's how mom and dad express
Logan,
love.
I hadn't even thought about that. That's a very good observation on that.
Well, I know
love each other.
I wasn't gonna I haven't told you this, but someone was just talking to me about you just to validate what an awesome dad this guy is. Mike Avil, buddy of mine, goes to our church, was actually talking to Kirsten at one of the past couple of rushes. You were in the middle of Rush is the big middle school and high school camp our church does.
Yeah.
Brent was leading a game. being crazy energy, all in Brent.
No, it's hard to imagine.
Well, and Micah asked your wife, is he always like this? Is he always like this at home? How do your kid, how have your kids, now that they're teenagers and they're going to college and all of that, how have they responded to this as they've gotten older? And she said, oh yeah, he's always been like this. He's always fully present, and he's never raised his voice to our children one time. And so you didn't even know that conversation happened. Yeah. And Micah and I were just talking about the podcast and, how is it working with Kenn and Brent? We were just talking about it, and he had that story. And so I just want to share that with all of our listeners to validate everything that you've said on this episode.
That's humbling.
Is
spot on,
humbling. Because his wife behind his back is confirming what he's sharing with all of this. He's not just blowing smoke right now. I just want to encourage you with that.
That is,
now that you're about to be an empty nester.
How about this? How about this takeaway? You never know who's watching, right?
You never know.
Could be kids, could be a spouse, could be somebody else you don't even see around, and you never know what they're going to glean from that.
And I want to add to Ken's great point earlier, any time's a good time to start being intentional. And there's this proverb that I'm just obsessed with right now. It's not a biblical proverb, but it almost should be. I think it's so good. And it's simply this: the best day to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best day is today.
I like that.
And so maybe if
Solomon
you're listening to this,
said that, right? But he did it.
Yeah, he did.
Solomon, man,
God
wisest man.
Mystic.
Well, but I want to say maybe you're hearing Brent and Kenn talk about just the awesome dads that they've been, and you might hear that and have some conviction. Go, I wish, or I wasted these years, or I was battling this addiction, or whatever was going on in life, and I wish I could have those years back. I just want to encourage you to piggyback off what Kenn said.
I like that, Logan.
Plant that tree today.
Start now. Yeah. Start now.
It's never
too late.
Today.
Never too late.
To wrap it up, because we're at time, I want to just one visual that was really cool to me to validate that in you. Logan spoke at a men's event, and it was about a very difficult part of your life. But what I totally loved was how transparent you were. But even more so, I sat behind your wife, who had come to support you. And that's what I'll leave people today is look for those around you going through a really great time, maybe a poor time, or just be sensitive to where's their moment and step into that with them. Because I saw her just locked in and agreeing and shaking her head and just being supportive.
Oh, that's good.
Because of that's based on living in a moment with somebody. It was either really good or really bad, but just being there with them.
Be there.
And we see that happen all the time. So today's challenge is and admonition is live in the moment and give them the 3 ways.
So this is your moment.
This is your moment.
Let me rise to the occasion. Let me be fully present with you. This is your moment. I want to give you all my attention, and then live every moment for the Lord. This is your moment.
That's awesome.
Their moment, his moment.
Yep.
T-shirt.
Yep. Let's make it.
Color us one. Color us one from last week.
We'll do that. Well,
that'd be cool.
We're not promised tomorrow, so live every moment today because we know that
every
day's
bonus.
That was close, but I got A. I got 1 letter. You guys got words.
Do you want more letters? Do you want a 4-letter word?
No.
You can say podcast.
There's some things you can do.
It was torture.
We'll get it right one day. See you guys next time.
Peace.
Bye-bye.